Good morning, students. Myself, Professor A.R. Khan, and I will be taking the subject Mechanics of Solids. This subject will be shared by myself and Professor Atiya Balu. We two will be sharing the subjects. As far as this subject is concerned, already I had posted you the syllabus of the particular subject and the entire semester for all the other subjects too. If you will go through the syllabus, you will find that in all there are six modules. Three of the modules Professor Atya will take, and I will be taking the remaining three modules. Module 1, 2, and 3 I will take, and module 4, 5, and 6 Professor Atya Bhanu will take. If you are having the copy of the syllabus, you will find that the module 1 it deals with the stresses and strains in elastic members, spherical and cylindrical shells. Module 2 axial force, shear force, and bending moment diagram for the beams and portal frames. Module 3 that deals with the area, moment of inertia, shear stresses, and bending stresses in the beams. The rest of the three modules will be dealt by Professor Atiya Bhanu. Out of the six modules, I will be taking three, and the rest of the three she will be taking. So here today we will start with module 1. Actually, what this particular subject is, I will give you a brief of that, and then we will go for the subject or in the details of the subject or the module. In first year in engineering mechanics, you must have studied rigid bodies. You must have studied the forces. Force is a vector. It required magnitude as well as direction to define it completely. Normally, the unit for force is in Newton, that is kg meter per second square. That is the unit for force. You must have studied about the resultant and equilibrium of concurrent forces, non-concurrent forces, parallel and non-parallel forces. In equilibrium, you must have solved various problems on concurrent, non-concurrent, parallel, non-parallel forces and all. You must have solved problems on determination of the reactions for the beams. That was the part of the statics. In part of dynamics, you must have studied different energy principles, kinematics, kinetics, and all. And this subject, the mechanics of solids, is the extension of the same thing. Right? We being civil engineer, we must know the properties of material. We must know the behavior of different material, the behavior of different objects when they are subjected to forces. So this is what we are going to learn here. In first year mechanics, you had learned rigid bodies. And now here we will learn elastic bodies. Okay? Please inform your friends also to join this lecture, those who have not joined. Because anyway, this is the first lecture. I don't want that anybody to miss the introduction part or the studying part. Because whatever we will be learning here, the same will be extend in the lectures, in the coming lectures. So I don't want that anybody to miss. Normally, our classes will be on the Google Class, um, on the different platform. I will be taking here on the YouTube. So please inform others also to join, those who are not joined. And I will request everybody to write their number, PRN number, and name in the chat box so that we will have a kind of attendance at the end. Okay? And please be attentive. Keep calculators always available with you because here lot of calculations we have to do. It is more a kind of numerical oriented subject. Okay? Please inform others. So, thank you. Sakshi has done her part. She has written her name and PRN. I request others also to do the same thing so that we will have the attendance. Okay. In first year, whatever you have learned in engineering mechanics, that was about the rigid bodies. See, and what we will be learning here is about the deformable bodies, elastic material. What do you mean by a rigid body? What do you mean by a rigid body? What do you mean by a rigid body? Whatever body is there, right? Those bodies we can divide into different parts or different type of bodies we can say a rigid body, elastic body, plastic body, सेमी इलास्टिक बॉडी क्या रहता है इट इज मटेरियल प्रॉपर्टी एक्चुअली इट इज एक्चुअली द मटेरियल प्रॉपर्टी okay how we can distinguish between different type of bodies a rigid body means if the force is applied when the force is applied there will not be any change in shape, size, and volume. Right? Whenever any force or the forces are applied on the body, you say force or the forces. When it is applied or when the forces are applied on the body, there will not be any change in the shape, size, and volume. Even if suppose say this is a body, if there are 2 points which are marked on the surface, if I apply forces or force on this body, there will not be any change in the relative position of these 2 points. Even if I mark the 2 points which are inside of that object, if I apply the forces, there will not be any kind of change in the relative position of those points. So there is no change in shape, size, volume, even if the points are marked on the surface or if the points are marked inside of that object, and when the forces are applied, there will not be any change in the relative position. So those kind of bodies we call as the rigid bodies. So what you have studied earlier are the rigid bodies. And what do you mean by elastic body? As I have told, it is a material property. It is a material property. What do you mean by elastic body? Elastic body means when force or the forces are applied, Deformation will be observed. Deformation will be there. Change in length, shape, size, volume, that will be there. Deformation will be observed. There will be change in shape. There will be change in size. There will be change in volume. There will be change in the relative position of the points which are marked on the surface or inside of that object. That will be observed. And when forces are removed or when the force is removed, the body will come to its original, right? The body will come to its original state, whatever was the shape, size, and volume. So it will come back, it will return back when the force or the forces are removed. That is called as the elastic body. Right? What do you mean by plastic body? Plastic body means if the forces are applied, deformation will be there. When the forces are removed, the object will remain in its deformed shape or in its deformed state. That is called as the plastic body. Right? हमको अलग अलग मटेरियल के प्रॉपर्टी समझना चाहिए. रिजिड बॉडी मीन्स क्या, इलास्टिक बॉडी मीन्स क्या, प्लास्टिक क्या, सेमी इलास्टिक क्या. Rigid body means when the force or the forces are applied, there will not be any deformation, no change in shape, size, and volume. Right? With the application of force, that is a rigid body. Elastic body, when the force or the forces are applied, the deformation will be observed. There will be change in shape, size, and volume. And when the force or the forces are removed, the object will come to its original state. That is the elastic body. The bodies which obey Hooke's law, those are called as the elastic bodies, which obey Hooke's law. What do you mean by a plastic body? When the force is applied or when the forces are applied, the deformation will be observed. When the forces are removed, the object will not come to its original. It will remain in its deformed state only. That is called as the plastic body. What is semi-elastic? It is something which is in between the elastic and plastic. When the forces are applied, deformation will be there. When the forces are removed, it will not come to its original completely, लेकिन कुछ permanent deformation रह जाएगा. Right? So this is the difference between the rigid body, elastic body, plastic body, and semi-elastic body. And what we will be studying here in this mechanics of solid is elastic bodies. Right? When the forces are applied, deformation will be there. When the forces are removed, the object will come to its original state. Those kind of bodies are called as the elastic bodies. So here we are going to study the effect of force or the effect of forces on the elastic bodies. Elastic bodies पर forces का क्या effect होगा? How the behavior of the object will be? How the behavior of the body will be? Right? कौन सा body? Elastic body. This is what we are going to study in mechanics of solid, MOS. Okay? Please inform your friends also to join the lecture, because I don't know, it is the very first lecture. I don't know even your names, your numbers and all. Whatever numbers are added there in the group, please pass a message there, or if you are having their personal numbers, please pass the message and let everybody to join this lecture. Subject बहुत आसान है. It is mainly numerical oriented, but you have to be regular. क्योंकि इसमें concept है. If you will miss any part, if you will miss the concept, then it will be difficult to catch that point again. इसके लिए I will request you to be very regular. Join the lecture from the very first minute. Don't miss any part. क्योंकि एक बार कोई पार्ट, कोई कंसेप्ट अगर मिस हो गया, फिर बाद में समझ में नहीं आता है कि ये क्या हो रहा है. That's why please be regular, be sincere. And from civil engineering point of view, this is very important, because we have to deal with the objects which are elastic. Even the concrete, which is a heterogeneous material, but we assume that as a homogeneous material and we consider that as an elastic material, and using those elastic property we analyze.